tough week on the road. I think our team got better. Did not get off the start we wanted to at Indiana, and scrapped and clawed, and had two really good performances by Kayla McMorris and Marcia Howard to put ourselves in a position, a 6-point game with about 4 minutes left, and watch two seniors from Indiana make a lot of plays down the stretch that are both all-conference caliber players, and Tyra Buss and Amanda Cahill. And I thought our team did a good job of moving forward to get ready, knowing when you play back-to-back road games in this league, you can't let the psychology and the mental part of the travel affect you, and knowing you've done it at other points in the season. And yesterday was not a script of a game that we've had all year. We were in foul trouble early. Suzanne Gilreath did a great job of keeping us in the game in the first half, and again, to go on the road, which has not been easy for us, to keep a game where we weren't playing our best, close at halftime, and then encountering a little more foul trouble in the second half, specifically to Marcia Howard. I was just really proud of our group. We rebounded the ball well yesterday, something that has been a struggle for us. We were down. It was -1 rebounding margin at halftime yesterday, and ended up being +12 for the game. I thought maturity of Kayla McMorris yesterday, wasn't having her greatest shooting game. Just did a really good job. Finished with 8 rebounds, but drew 3 fouls on 3 other box outs. But Suzanne Gilreath's ability to score the basketball yesterday allowed us to push the lead out. And then we got great contributions from other people in the second half offensively. Nia Beverly had 7 points. Kendall Shaw did a great job of finishing off plays. Courtney Fredrickson, when we were stuck a little bit, got a couple of big shots for us. But, again, when you go on the road, anything and everything can happen. And excited about how our defense was able to weather a storm on a pack-the-house day with Illinois, a team desperately trying to get a win in the league, to be able to, get back and switch defenses, and even after they made 6 of their first 10 threes, hold them to 2 makes on their last 19 attempts and be able to finish the game out.
You got Minnesota, a team you just played a couple weeks ago, who lit you up in the first half with 56 points. What do you have to do defensively when that's fresh in your mind to not let them get off? And that's a team that likes to score, and they're good at it.
Yeah, I think the first thing with Minnesota is you can't allow them to get baskets in transition. And then that starts with Kenesha Bell. And, when they scored 56 in the first half a couple weeks ago, she had 20 of those 56. And again, got into the heart of our defense, got to the free throw line. With getting to the free throw line early and often, it slowed the game down. The clock wasn't running. It didn't slow the game down when the clock was running, because they like to push the ball and attack. I thought the other thing that we have to do a better job of is they got a lot of easy baskets on the offensive glass, and 2 and 3 possessions. That was, as you look across the board, the ability to offensive rebound in that game was a huge advantage for Minnesota. So, they have so many weapons. It's not just Kenesha Bell. It's not just their ability to offensive rebound. Carly Wagner's a 1,900-plus career scorer. Destiny Pitts is probably the odds-on favorite right now to be the Big Ten Rookie of the Year, shooting the 3 really, really well. Godiva Hubbard is another really explosive perimeter scorer. So you have to be able to, I think, understand what the tempo of the game we want is going to be, and forcing them to get deeper into the shot clock, and know on the other end, again, when you quick shoot, that can lead to their ability to get out in transition. So we've got to take great care of the basketball, and not allow them to get live ball turnovers to attack in advantage situations. But I think it starts with transition defense. I thought that was the difference in the second half when we played them, and it was 34-32. They've played just 1 game since we played them last. They've been on the bye the last 9 days. So I think coming back at home, we've got to understand with the Northwestern game and the Penn State game, and understand even yesterday that ability to limit easy baskets on those 2 fronts, transition transition defense and on the offensive glass will be huge emphasis for us the next 2 days.
Just looking ahead to Saturday, I know you've.
You're the only one looking ahead. Come on now.
Well, because this is our chance. You've coached some great players and against some great players, and Kelsey Mitchell's accomplished things that nobody's ever done in this conference. What's your observation of her as a player?
One thing, and as again, I think having Maya McCurdy, who coached her first 2 years at Ohio State, and then seeing her develop through the last 4 years, the last two obviously in the same conference. I think she's a player that just scores the ball and so explosive and just does a great job of understanding how different defenses play her. But I still you can see that in her eye of wanting to put all those away to get that next step and whether that's win both the regular season and the conference title. A senior year where you're hosting the Final Four in Columbus. We actually got to talk to her a little bit at Maya's wedding, and she is a just outstanding individual who just gives credit to everybody around her. I think that's, this year of trying to, she understands these point records are going to come, but I think that ultimate prize, and that's what you want from a competitor. She has a drive like Skylar had when I was at Notre Dame, but it's interesting with the change of personnel they've had this year and maybe a little bit more limited numbers. I still think there's a part of her that wants everybody to be more involved, and I think she gets an incorrect reputation that she just takes every shot imaginable, and I don't think she's a good passer. She wants it. She understands that's going to help the team, so people can't load up on her. But from talking to different people in the WNBA, they're so excited about what she'll be able to do at the next level as well, and that's fun. That's great for our league. It doesn't help from 12 to 2 on Saturday, but I think that's good for our league when we have those caliber players.
Jonathan, how have you been able to score the ball more here over the last 5-6 games compared to the start of the Big Ten season?
Yeah, I think that the team has done a good job of on every catch of being more of a threat and understanding. We had a discussion what teams maybe yell out at our players when they catch the ball for some of them that aren't shooting it as well, and nothing derogatory, but they can't get in that mindset of I'm on the floor just to pass. They can still get their teammates better shots by being more offensively minded, of putting the ball on the ground and being ready to shoot. And again, I think looking at that difference, we've been able to squeeze more points out in transition. We've been able to get, a few more. Yesterday was a better example of get more on the offensive glass. And then the efficiency. I think when you look in those first 6 games, or even really first 4 games, the amount of times we turned it over. And again, we're a team that's not going to be in that high possession category and try to score it in that way. We know that at our best, we've got to be more efficient. We've got to then make sure that on the other end, we're not taking bad shots to allow people to get out to zap our confidence. But I think yesterday was a great example. There were 6 plays in the game yesterday where our players had a good shot and they gave the ball up to somebody that had an even better shot. And a lot of times that recipient was Suzanne Gilreath. But that's the maturity of our team, too, because 3 of those plays were Kayla McMorris. And I think the understanding, Brian, of not having your best shooting day and a maturation in Kayla of knowing I can help the team be able to be successful by being better defensively, rebounding the ball, making the extra pass. And, when that leads to success and a victory, you can be able to build on that more.
When wins are hard to come by and you get a win, especially on the road, how much does that energize everyone?
Well, I believe the next time you walk in the locker room, you can build off of that. But then moving forward, the next time you walk in, you get on a plane or a bus and you you travel, you have that ability to use that as precedent. And we've used the pit game too much as precedent leading up to these road games to be able to put some those situations together. Again, I think it's important you don't just sit there and say, hey, we won, now the next game you're going to win. How did you win? How did you get through the ups and downs of a game and have different people step up and challenge them to do those same things in practice? And again, trying to constantly show them the progress we're making. And as we've talked about before, there's a fine line of being able to say, hey, look, we're doing this better, and we're shooting it better over the last 4 games. And again, they're 18 to 22-year-olds that have instant access to so many things. That part of getting the win is that proverbial icing on the cake. But to be able to build off that. And again, as we're in the second half of the Big Ten season, I think we talk to them all the time about how this league, on any night, different people are stepping up and knocking people off. It doesn't matter if you're ranked. It doesn't matter if you're at home. You have that ability to do the things you can control and have that desired outcome. And again, I think that's even getting on the bus last night and coming home and then as we approach practice today, is that mindset. How did we get there and to build off that?